Hi, how's everybody today? Oh my goodness, look at my thing is full and I just started. But anyway, hope everybody's doing good. By the title, you can see people are probably wondering, what in the world is she talking about? But anyway, I have to release a number of videos this weekend, so I am trying to get those out. Excuse me. But anyway, this one is, yeah. So, there are some shows that are out, especially on YouTube or whatever. That's where I've seen them. So, and it's about online boyfriends or girlfriends. And it's just crazy because the people, they haven't even seen the person, but they're saying that that's their boyfriend or whatever online. And that's how they met and everything. And so, and then it ends up being that it was a scam and all that stuff, right? But these people have sent like hundreds and even thousands of dollars to these guys that they've never ever met. Okay, these women are doing that and they're talking about they're in love and whatever, and I'm like, how are you in love with that person? So I've watched stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So a couple of months ago, I got a message from my Facebook, which I'm always getting these messages, crazy, weird people off of my Facebook. And so this one guy, he sent his picture. He had his picture. He sent his Facebook that he request and all that stuff, and I never requested, to be his friend or whatever. And somehow he was able to call me via Facebook. And I was just like, why is he calling me? Because his picture popped up. And I was like, I am not answering or, calling this guy. And so anyway, he ended up just messaging me and everything. So I answered one of the messages, okay? Not to be with anybody, okay? So just don't even go there. It was just, I was trying to see, why is he calling me? How did he get, all that for him to be able to call me and stuff? And so my niece Donna was the one, I think, was it her who told me, one of them, showed me how to block and all that stuff afterwards. And so, he was like, yeah, I'm from England and I'm here in America. I was in the army. I mean, the whole 9 yards. He lost his parents. He was an orphan and all kinds of stuff. And so I'm just looking at the thing and I'm like, okay, And so he was asking me what I did and all that stuff, and I wouldn't answer. He's like, why aren't you talking to me and all this stuff. And so one day, all of a sudden, he started with this sad story about how he has a bank account and how he couldn't get into his bank account because of whatever reason, and they're blocking him out and he needs some help. So I was curious. I'm not going to lie. I was very curious. So, I played the game and I was like, oh my goodness. I said, you got to be kidding me. Because, anybody who knows me, I ain't supposed to give nobody. Okay? No stranger. Okay? I'll give the shirt off my back if I have to. But not like that. And so I was like, well, why would they do that? And, and the job he said he has, and, he said he was in the military, I think an ex-Marine or something like that. And he was like, I don't know why they're doing that to me or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. And all that stuff. And so I was at work one day and I was like, I'm sorry, you're bothering me at work. Okay. And at the time, it was right when I transitioned from that one job to another. So it was like my last week of working nights at the job I had prior. And so I was like, well, I'm so sorry to hear that happened to you and and all that stuff. And so he's like, so what do you do? Where do you work? And and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I wasn't comfortable sharing that information with him. I was like, well, you asked me where I work at. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so eventually, he was like, he wants to come to Texas because he knew I was in Texas. Because, you know, my thing, of course, my profile and all that. And so I was just like, oh, really? I was like, what you going to come do over here? He's like, well, you know, I was thinking of, you know, getting a room or something over there. And then, you know, we could meet and get familiar with each other and, you know, stuff like that. And so I just looked at it. I was like, oh, I said, okay. I said, so when are you going to come? I did, y'all. I was like, so when you coming? And it's this, you know, I saw his picture and I was like, that's probably not even his picture. He probably took somebody's picture because it was this guy. And of course, people, it doesn't matter what you look like because it could look like the most nicest, down to earth, safe, caring, loving person, which is what this guy looked like. He looked like somebody's, you know, youth pastor. And, you know, and he was white. And, you know, and so he was like, well, you know, I want to come down. You see my picture and everything, you know who I am. So, you know, I want to come down and stuff, you know, but things are really hard right now. So I'm trying to, you know, get it together. And I was like, oh, okay. So I said, well, you let me know when you're coming. So, you know, he's like, yeah, so when I come, you know, I want us to spend some time together in Texas. He's like, you know, do you have a house? Do you have a somewhere, you know? I ain't got no house. Of course, I didn't say that to him. I was just like, you know, I was like, I don't know you like that. I don't think that would be a good idea. So guess what he says? Oh, I'll just get a room somewhere and then, you know, we can meet up and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, spend time together and get to know each other and all this stuff. And I'm like, how? And then I'm just thinking, wait a minute now. In the first place, how did it even get to there? Because there's no time at all that I invited this man or asked him, you know, anything about, you know, wanting to be with him or anything like that. So I was like, well, how all of a sudden are you trying to come over here to meet me and stuff? I'm like, you don't even know who I am. And so I was just waiting for it. And of course, anybody who knows me, I already saw it. I was like, I'm waiting for him to ask the big question. I was waiting on him. I was like, he's going to ask the big question. And I knew it, and I was waiting. Because I'm like, this is crazy. So he's telling me that how he's going to come down and spend some time with me. And then, you know, yada, yada, yada. So I said, okay. I said, you know, and mind you, he looked like he was probably in his 50s. Like 50, he looked like, oh, he did tell me his age. I think he was 50 something, 54, 55. You know, and I was like, no. And so I was just like, okay, you know, like he's, and so after he told me that, you know, I kept trying to get a date out of him because I was like, let me see what you gonna say. I said, so what date are you coming? Girl, I still have this thing on my, anyway. I said, what date are you coming? So I can know and I can prepare. Because let me tell you something, he would have never heard or seen me again if he did try to come over here. So I was like, and so he's like, well, you know, let me think of a time and this, and then I'll get back with you. I said, okay, fine. The next day. Now, the next day I was so busy and, you know, I never answered. By the time I looked at the messages, and he said because it was so many of them, I was like, who's this? I done forgot about the So by the time I looked at the messages and everything, and I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, he had all these messages. Why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, we don't even know each other. I don't even know you. He has on there, why are you doing this to me? Why aren't you answering me? And all kind of stuff. And so thank God I don't have my address. Okay. And then not only that man was not trying to come over here like that. And so that was last year, probably like around November or October, sometime last year that happened. And so I was like, you know, what in the world? So all of a sudden, I guess because I didn't answer, all of a sudden he sends this thing apologizing and all that and whatnot. And so I remember the things that I have this thread where my full and true name is not on it, and somehow he got that thread, which was great for me. And so I was like, I said, you're fine. Because nothing he said bothered me. Whatever he said, I'm like, I don't know him from nowhere. He don't know me. So I was like, he ain't bothering none of me. And so all of a sudden, he sends this emergency message. And I kid you not, it was something just like off of those shows I watched. It was the same process, same thing. Everything was the same. And then I thought to myself, there's the big question. My bank just shut down on me. My bank shut down on me and I can't get any money. Can you send me? I need you to send me money. I need you to go and do you have Apple Pay? Because I need you to send me $300. Then I need you to send me this. So, and I'm thinking to myself, does this man really think that I'm that stupid? I'm like, I cannot believe they're doing that. And these women are just literally doing that and sending money on Apple Pay, sending money on prepaid gift cards, all kinds of stuff. And I looked at that and I was like, are you serious? I never responded. And then I remember I blocked him. I called my niece, one of my nieces, and they showed me how to block and everything. And after that, all of a sudden on my Facebook page, his stuff disappeared because he took it off. Because I guess he realized that I realized that he was trying to scam me. Like I was really going to give that man my money, okay, that I'm working for. Like, absolutely not. But it was just so hilarious. It was hilarious. Whether it was him or not, I don't know. But these people, sometimes they are taking people's pictures, or they're going to the stock pictures and stuff like that. And they're taking people's pictures. They're taking their profiles and just pasting it on like it's them. I really don't believe it was him, because the guy that I saw, he looked very, very put together. And so I was like, there's no way that man was going to ask me for money like that. I was like, there's no way. I think that somebody out of Africa somewhere took somebody's profile picture and put it on there, because most of them are Africans, or they write, like this one lady, child, he might as well have just been her neighbor, because he was in the same neighborhood doing this to this woman. Got this man's picture and all kind of stuff on there, making her think that she's sending money all the way to South Africa somewhere, and she got a white man's picture, talking about that's her boyfriend. I'm like, are you really serious? Like, come on, get it together. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that little story, because I thought that was just so hilarious that this man really thought that, he was going to be able to scam me like that. Child, ain't nobody, okay? Ain't nobody going to be able to scam me. Not like that. The discernment is just too strong in my life. Anyway, I hope y'all are having a good day. It's always good. It's always a good day to have a great day. So I hope y'all are having one, and enjoy it. Enjoy it.